what do you think if you want to riff on the EHEX PX deal of the implications for Hedron? What have you speculated that it's going to look like, and how would it change now?
I don't want to speak for, and say what exactly Alex's opinion is on anything. I can just kind of go off of like how I interpreted what he says. And the way I interpreted it is that EHEX is extremely important for an entire ecosystem. It is like the first token people see when they're first getting into crypto. Maybe all you know of is Ethereum. Maybe you're just learning Ethereum. You're just getting on the block explorers. You're just getting on the deck screeners. You're starting to put things together. Like if you hear about our ecosystem, you pull up EHEX, and it needs to be like a good onboarding tool. And currently it's not. And I think that's one thing that he's and I'm just talking about the price chart, right? Like that's literally all I'm talking about. That's what people look at.
I mean, there's a ton of gatekeeping there too. That's been if anything, has been a positive shift. If you prefer using Hex on PulseChain now, everyone makes their own choice. But if you believe that's the premier Hex and all that stuff, at least we don't have to do all the there's not as easy processes for doing stuff. But at least it's not like, oh my God, Uniswap, please undo this thing because we need this now. At least we have our own stuff going on. Anyways, just throw that nuance in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when Alex kind of forked Uniswap's front end, and now you can go on the Ethereum network and throw in Hex and type in Hex and it pops up, right? Like, I mean, he saw that as an issue from day one, and I can't remember if it's related or not, but it was right around that time. Like, yeah, there you go. You could just throw in Hex there, and it pops right up, and you can swap on Ethereum, buy Hex, sell Hex, that sort of a thing.
I wonder, just on this real quick. Sorry, I can't ignore this. So with ETH, you know about ETHEX, right? ETHEX.com.win, whatever, ETHEX.com. So this was the other Uniswap front end that I guess Richard's devs or whoever's did. Right. So I wonder why Alex did one too, because if you get access to the same liquidity pools and no gatekeeping, was this like, I wonder what's going to happen with, like, he wanted to support PulseChain and ETH Fair and all the other ones? I wonder, is that why he, like, a big use case for it too? Because we had ETHEX, so. But I mean, it totally makes sense. And I remember when launched going here, be like, oh, is my LP position still there? That kind of stuff. I didn't, because I never even knew about ETHEX until Richard and the devs decentralized it. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll add it to the site now because that's all the official apps and stuff. Anyways, I just wanted to bring that up. I was like, is it just to support different networks? He wanted to like play around and do different stuff. Maybe that's a really cool use case for it too.
Yeah, absolutely. So to just kind of circle back, I think he had to pivot a little bit on what he was planning on doing with Hedron, or Icosa Hedron V2, just based on trying to give maybe some utility of EHEX on PulseChain, something that they can add some value. Maybe you can stake EHEX on PulseChain. Obviously, it's not going to self-inflate, but maybe it does something else. Maybe it gives you like a new token, or there's some sort of new incentive model that he's building towards it. So I think that's what made his job harder. I mean, obviously 3 weeks ago, he was like, testnet's ready to go on Icosa Hedron and V2. And then I think we got the news on EHEX and such shortly afterwards. And I think that kind of made him, slam on the brakes on what he was about to deploy and kind of have to rethink it all. So that's just my speculation. I really don't know what's going on there, but that's my speculation.
I've heard so much about just the rumors and stuff of being able to stake Ethereum Hex on PulseChain, and for a long time it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, okay, we need a new Hex contract for this. I don't know why Alex would make new tokens for this type of thing. And then I was thinking about the other day. I'm like, well, if you have HSIs and stuff, like, why can't there be something around that? Like, there doesn't need to be a new Hex token that you could, a new EHEX token that you could for PulseChain, unless Hex V2 happens and Hex devs do that or whatever. But just, isn't there something there with HSIs? Like, can't you just, you think we'll see something around being able to use EHEX on PulseChain just by doing something different with HSIs, or doing something different with the different Hedron stuff we already have? Like, isn't that the most likely thing to happen?
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Like where do you come up with more utility or something for any token? Like, how do you build on any token? Like, what are some techniques you can do? And I'll tell you, that's what really helped me kind of understand what's possible is my whole developer journey. Like being able to pull apart smart contracts and run tests on them. I now have a better idea of what can actually be built. And derivatives, there should be way more derivatives than what there currently are. And I've got a derivative contract for Icosa. It's been ready to go for 8 months, something like that.
Wow.
But I've been waiting for V2. I've had these conversations with Alex, and I was like, I've got something built, I want to launch it, but it didn't make any sense to do it right before he comes out with the V2 because I want to build on V2. That's what I want to do. So, we're waiting on that. And there's so many things you can do. You can lock the eHex the wrapped, because a wrapped token that's come over from Ethereum. It's super basic run of the mill, something that the Omni bridge kind of spits out, right? But you can do things with that as far as converting it into an actual native token. And you can do that by burning it. You can do that by locking it into a smart contract that nobody has contract or keys to. There's a lot of different things you can do to build on top of it. And then, that's not even talking about, HSIs and what you can do with HMIs if you convert it, that sort of thing. So, I'm hoping that we get like this huge data, like just dump from Alex, like here pretty soon on everything that he's kind of figured out and what he finds is interesting and what he thinks will be the most impactful. And I can't wait to kind of tackle that. But I mean, you can do derivative tokens on your favorite tokens themselves without ever like vampiring any economic energy, and only providing positive reinforcement feedback to the original token. It's completely possible, and at least I'm sold on that idea.
Wow, dude, I love it too. I love that this, again, regardless how you feel about EXPX, all this stuff. I love that we have people in the community who believe, a certain way and don't go about it, being toxic or just yelling at people or trying to convince people otherwise. They just build stuff. And people use it or they don't. And they vote with their code and they vote with their social capital. They vote with all these other things. And again, I don't agree with everything Richard tweets. He tweets some things and I'm like, I don't know, man, like that, maybe there's some 5G chess going on, whatever. I don't comment on it a lot, but I love that we have these different perspectives. We have people in the community willing to say, I don't know, I think we're going to keep this thing around. You don't have to, again, Richard's tweet to me was just, I'm not going to support Ethereum anymore. You guys can do whatever you want, but I'm doing PulseChain. I think the market's decided, all that stuff. But people in the community can choose how to build their products, where to build it. And it's not even like, again, they don't, this is permissionless building, right? Like this is a community that rewards people who build cool stuff, no matter which platform they build it on. So I'm excited for that. That is a true show of the strength of the community, of the people who are actually contributing and building stuff. Like to me, of all the, it sucked in different ways and different people had different reactions than otherwise, but I think characters revealed. And I love to see it revealed in ways like this too.
Yeah. And, I think out of everything I just said, I think the one thing to take away from it is that any token at any time can be revived with an insane amount of vigor and attention and economic energy and a lot of interactions. Like all this stuff doesn't have to just like go to the wayside in order to go forward. Like there's ways to integrate everything together. And that's kind of been my goal. And that will be my goal from here on out for at least through this next year or so, is like, how can I add value to all my favorite tokens and all my favorite communities? Like, that's all I want to do.